On Thanksgiving, my parents told me to give my entire bonus to my brother, Ethan, because he needed it more. I laughed and said, "That's funny because I have a surprise for you too." Their faces dropped when I opened my laptop and showed them. Thanksgiving dinner was supposed to be a time for family, laughter, and a whole lot of food. That's what it used to be for me, but this year, it was something else. It was the day everything came to light, the day years of favoritism, manipulation, and entitlement finally reached a breaking point. And for once, I wasn't the one getting the short end of the stick. I grew up knowing I wasn't the golden child. That title belonged to my younger brother, Ethan. My parents doted on him, gave him everything, and bailed him out of every bad decision. Meanwhile, I was the responsible one, the one who never asked for anything, the one who got used to hearing, "Well, Ethan needs it more." I worked my ass off to get where I am. I paid my way through college with scholarships and side jobs. I worked long hours, climbed the corporate ladder, and finally, after years of grinding, I landed a job that actually paid me what I was worth. And this year, I got my biggest bonus yet. I didn't even tell my parents about it, but they found out. We were sitting at the Thanksgiving table, everyone passing dishes around, making small talk, and then, my mom, with that fake sweet voice she always used when she was about to ask me for something, looked at me and said, "So, we were thinking, that's never a good start." She and my dad exchanged a glance before she continued, "Since you got that big bonus this year, we figured it would be really helpful if you gave it to Ethan. He's been struggling so much lately." I blinked. I genuinely thought she was joking. I let out a small laugh and said, "That's funny because I have a surprise for you too." Their faces lit up for a second, probably thinking I was about to say something generous. That's when I pulled out my laptop. I opened the folder I had spent months gathering, screenshots, receipts, emails, everything, and I turned the screen toward them. Silence. My mom's smile froze. My dad's face paled. Ethan, who up until now had been smirking like he always did when he thought he was getting away with something, suddenly looked like a deer in headlights. See, what they didn't know, what they never bothered to ask, was that I had been keeping track of everything. Every time they took money from me, every time they borrowed something they never returned, every time they made excuses for Ethan while expecting me to be the responsible one. But that wasn't even the worst part. I had something else, something bigger, something that would make sure they never asked me for another dime again. I took a deep breath, leaned back in my chair, and said, "I hope you're ready for this." My mom reached for her wine glass with a shaking hand. My dad just stared at the laptop, his jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. And Ethan? He was already looking for a way out, shifting in his chair, eyes darting around the room like a rat trapped in a cage. I let the silence sit for a moment, let them sweat. Then I tapped the screen. "This," I said slowly, "is every bank transfer I've ever sent you, every loan that was never paid back, every emergency bill you couldn't cover because Ethan needed help." I scrolled down. The numbers added up, thousands, tens of thousands. My mom started to say something, but I held up a hand. "I'm not done." I clicked to the next file. "This," I continued, "is Ethan's credit card history." Ethan sucked in a sharp breath. "How the hell did you?" I cut him off. "You're not as smart as you think you are." He had no idea I had access to his statements. He had no idea that every time my parents asked me for help because Ethan was supposedly drowning in bills, he was actually blowing money on bars, expensive sneakers, and vacations. I had screenshots of Instagram posts where he flexed with bottles of champagne at clubs, trips to Miami, Las Vegas, Mexico. I even had a photo of him standing next to a brand new gaming setup, one that cost more than my rent. My mom turned to him. "Is this true?" she whispered. Ethan scoffed. "It's not that serious." I laughed, a real, bitter laugh. "Oh, but it is. And do you know why?" I clicked to the final file. My dad spoke for the first time. "What else could there possibly be?" I turned the screen to face them again. "This," I said, my voice steady, "is the record of the mortgage payments I made on this house, the one you told me was already paid off." My mom's face went white. My dad let out a slow breath, his hand gripping the table like he might flip it over. "Yeah, that's right. I found out. See, about a year ago, my parents came to me crying, saying they were in danger of losing the house. They begged me for help, swore they just needed a little bit to get back on their feet. I was hesitant, but I didn't want them homeless, so I paid, and paid, and paid. Then I got curious, I did some digging, and I found out the house was never in danger. The money? Gone. Where? Ethan. My parents funneled the money straight to him, for his struggles, for his hard times, For his vacations, his parties, his fun. I leaned back and crossed my arms. So, tell me again, I said, my voice cold. Why exactly should I give him a bonus? No one spoke. The room was so quiet I could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. Then my dad's voice, low and dangerous, you went behind our backs. I went behind your backs. You stole from me. Ethan slammed a hand on the table. You're making a big deal out of nothing. My patience snapped. Nothing? You lied to me. All of you. Over and over again. And you expected me to keep giving. Expected me to just hand over more money while you spend it on this loser. Ethan jumped up. I'm not a loser. My dad stood, his hands flat on the table. Sit down. Ethan hesitated, but something in my dad's tone made him drop back into his seat. Fuming, my mom reached for me, her voice soft, pleading, sweetheart, you don't understand. I yanked my arm away. No, you don't understand. I pointed to the laptop. I have proof, every single thing you've done. And now, I leaned in, lowering my voice. Now you're going to pay me back. Their faces dropped even further. Yeah, they weren't expecting that. For once, I had the power, and I wasn't done yet. The air in the room shifted. My mom's face crumpled, but I wasn't falling for the fake tears this time. My dad looked like he was calculating, trying to figure out how to twist this in his favor. Ethan's fists were clenched so tight his knuckles turned white. You want us to pay you back? My dad finally said, his voice low, controlled. I nodded. That's right. He let out a dry chuckle. And what if we don't? I smiled. I had been waiting for him to ask that. I clicked on another file, turned the laptop back around, and slid it toward them. Then I said, send this to the IRS. My mom made a choking sound. My dad stiffened. Ethan frowned. The IRS? What the hell does that mean? Oh, it means our dear parents have been committing a little thing called tax fraud for the last 5 years. I tapped the screen. Fake deductions, false income reports, and, oh, look at this, filing you as a dependent even though you make plenty of money under the table. Ethan's head whipped toward them. Wait, what? I nodded. Yeah, you were never as broke as they made you seem. In fact, you've been earning more than me at times, just illegally, cash jobs, no taxes, and our parents covered for you by committing fraud. Ethan's face twisted with confusion, then anger. What the hell, Dad? But my dad wasn't looking at him. He was looking at me, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in his eyes. You don't want to do this, he said quietly. I tilted my head. Why not? Because we're family? I let out a humorless laugh. Family? Family wouldn't have stolen from me. Family wouldn't have lied to my face for years. Family wouldn't have left me to struggle while they threw money at someone who refused to grow up. Ethan shot up from his chair, pointing a finger at me. Oh, shut the hell up. You self-righteous. You think you're so much better than me just because you work some boring office job? You think that makes you more deserving? I met his glare without blinking. Yeah, actually, I do, because I earned it. My mom sobbed into her hands. My dad rubbed his temple, his face unreadable, and then something unexpected happened. Ethan laughed, a slow, ugly laugh that made my skin crawl. You really think you're going to win this? He asked, shaking his head. You think you're the only one with leverage? A bad feeling crept up my spine. What the hell are you talking about? His smirk widened. I guess it's time for my surprise. And then he pulled his phone out. He tapped the screen a few times, then turned it toward me. My stomach dropped. There, on his phone, was an email, one from my company's HR department. I scanned it quickly. It was a complaint, a serious one, allegation of financial misconduct, of me using company funds for personal gain. A setup, a goddamn setup. I looked up at him in shock, and Ethan grinned. See? You weren't the only one planning ahead. I gripped the table. You framed me. He shrugged. Call it insurance. My heart pounded. If my company took this seriously, I could lose my job, my career, everything I had built. And the worst part? I could see it in my parents' faces. They knew. They had helped him. This wasn't just favoritism anymore. This was war. I stared at Ethan's phone, my pulse hammering in my ears. The fake complaint from HR, the setup, the absolute audacity of it. I forced myself to breathe. Stay calm. Don't give him the reaction he wants. I looked him straight in the eye. How long have you been planning this? His smirk widened. Does it matter? You thought you were the only one playing the game. Guess what? You lost. I turned to my parents. My dad wouldn't look at me. My mom wiped at her fake tears, refusing to meet my gaze. That was my answer. They knew. They had helped him. They were willing to destroy me to keep propping him up. I let out a small, disbelieving laugh. You really hate me that much? My mom gasped, all wide-eyed innocence. Sweetheart. No, we had to protect him. He's not as strong as you are. He wouldn't survive without us. I shook my head. You mean without me? Ethan snorted. Oh, get over yourself. You act like you're so special just because you work a crappy job in some office. That crappy job is why you still have a roof over your head. Dumbass. I snapped. He rolled his eyes. You really think you're untouchable, don't you? That company loves me. You're replaceable. And once that complaint goes through, you're gone. Something shifted inside me. For years, I had let this family take from me money, time, energy, love. I had let them make me the responsible one. The one who always had to be the bigger person. The one who never fought back. But this was war. I sat back in my chair, crossing my arms. You want to play dirty? Fine. Let's play. Ethan opened his mouth to say something cocky, but I cut him off. You didn't actually send that complaint yet, did you? He blinked. What? I smirked. Oh, I know you didn't send it yet. I pointed at the screen. It's still in draft mode. His face twisted in confusion before he quickly swiped his phone back. So what? I'll send it right now. Go ahead, I said. He froze. I leaned in. Do it. His fingers hovered over the screen, hesitation flickering across his face. That's when I laughed, a deep, bitter laugh. You're bluffing. He looked up, scowling. No, I'm not. Oh, but you are. I shook my head. You thought you had leverage. You thought you could scare me with this little trick. You don't even understand how corporate HR works. I leaned in, lowering my voice. Do you really think my company would take an anonymous complaint at face value? You think they wouldn't investigate? You think they wouldn't find out where it came from? His smirk faltered. I laughed again. Oh, you idiot. You don't even realize how much trouble you're in. He shifted in his seat, trying to regain confidence. Even if they investigate, it'll still ruin your reputation. I shrugged. Maybe, but guess what? I have an actual lawyer. And do you know what's illegal, Ethan? Silence. I smiled knowingly. Filing a false report, defamation, corporate fraud. I have evidence that I've done nothing wrong. And if you do send that complaint, I will sue you. I will sue this entire family. I will take you all down. I turned to my dad. And let's not forget your situation. His jaw clenched. I tapped my laptop. All I have to do is send one email to the IRS. And you're looking at an audit, fines, and maybe even jail time. My mom gasped. You wouldn't. I tilted my head. Why not? You were ready to let Ethan ruin my career. Why should I protect you? Ethan slammed his fists on the table. You're just bluffing. I shrugged. Try me. A tense silence stretched across the table. For once, they had no control. They were the ones panicking. I stood up slowly, packing up my laptop. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice calm and collected. You're going to drop this little plan of yours. You're going to stop asking me for money. You're going to pay me back, all of it. My dad scoffed. And if we don't? I slung my bag over my shoulder. Then I burn it all down. I turned to leave. Then my mom screamed, a broken sound that ripped through the dining room. You can't just walk away from us, she wailed. I turned back, staring at her. My father sat stone-faced, his pride keeping him from begging. But my mom, she knew. She knew I was really leaving this time. She scrambled toward me, her voice desperate. We're family. We're all we have. I exhaled slowly. No, I was all you had. Then I looked at Ethan, my voice ice cold. And you? You're nothing to me now. Something flickered in his expression, shock, maybe even fear. But I didn't stay to watch. I walked to the door. I stepped outside into the cold November air. For the first time in my life, I felt free. I never went back. A month later, I got a notification. One of the payments I demanded had gone through. I didn't respond. I focused on myself, my future, my peace, and as for them, well, I heard from a cousin that the IRS did, in fact, come knocking. I never sent the email, but someone else must have. Funny how karma works.